Hi everyone, Sarah here from the Paper Cut.
You're not showing up, just the background.
No, am I here? Okay, hang on a minute, people.
That's all it was showing is, it wasn't showing you. Technical issues. It's upside down now.
Okay, can you go stand over there, Ron?
Yep.
We'll be right with you. Sorry.
Okay. Here comes me.
Okay. Okay, so that's good.
Oh, there it is.
Okay,
I see
well,
it.
can you put your hand
On the table.
over the top of the table?
Okay. Now the picture went black.
Okay, there, now it's... Okay. Okay, now you can come back over here.
Okay.
Hi everyone, we'll get started in just a minute.
Darn technology.
My computer like
Crashed.
shut off. It didn't crash, it just kind of went into sleep mode right before we were supposed to start. And yeah, then when I turned it back on, it didn't hook up the cameras, which I didn't check that because it looked like they were hooked up. So anyways, here we are. I think you can see and hear me. Yep. Okay. Okay, so here we are, Thursday night. It is our layered tree mini class, but I'm also going to go through a few things with you. So my March craft along, which I showed you, this one, the cascading card, that one will be getting posted online probably tomorrow. So it's this card and another one. I haven't designed the other one, but it'll be similar. It'll be the same kind of theme. Now, the 26th, where I was giving you a teaser, that kind of, it didn't totally fall through, but it's being postponed. And it's a collaboration with some other vendors, and I can't give you any more than that. Sorry, I want to, but I can't. But anyways, we're doing something here anyways. So, because this year in February is our 26th year in business. So on Saturday the 26th, we're going to do a little like craft along, and then we're going to have a comment sold. So on Saturday the 26th, a craft along, and I'm going to teach one card, then I'm going to get off, and Mitra from Impression Obsession is going to get on and teach the other card while I get set up for the comment sold. So those two cards, this is the 26th. They're not posted online yet, but I will get them posted online tomorrow. So the first one is this flip-flop card. Oops, hang on. It's hard to like open and close backwards. So that's the flip-flop card. See how you see the cupcake and then it switches to some words. So that's the flip-flop card. So that's the one that I'll be doing. And this will be one kit. It'll come together. It's just I'm going to teach one, and then Mitra's going to hop on and she's going to teach you a shaker card with some of her birthday dies and her background stamps. So they're kind of coordinating cards. They're birthday cards because it's our 26th birthday in business. So we'll do that on February 26th. I'll get those classes posted sometime tomorrow. Then on our sale page right now, I've got some square card overlay kits, because in the class that we're doing tonight, we're doing this card. And so I did a whole bunch of different color combinations, and that's our square card window overlay card. And there's a box on our sale page that says square card overlay kits, now through the 12th, which is Saturday. And they're like $7 marked down to $3.75 for a 5-count kit. So what's included in those kits, and some of them are facing this way and some of them are facing this way. They're all the same. They're scored on the side. It is a square window overlay, a square window card, and then it's a text insert. So that's on our sale page right now through Saturday, and there's a whole bunch of different color combinations. We're discontinuing this size because it's a square, so they do cost a little bit more to mail, but maybe they're nice cards. If you don't want to pay the extra postage, they're a nice card just to give to somebody in person.
So your sale page is still up?
Yeah, our sale page is up.
Okay.
Yep. Sometimes I take it down when I'm not sure what's going on, but right now those are on there plus a few other things. So that's what we have going on. The square card overlay kits on our sale page, our little birthday event on the 26th where we're doing 2 birthday cards. It's our flip-flop card and a shaker card. And Mitra from Impression Obsession is going to teach you one of the cards, and then we'll do a comment sold on that Saturday. So, and then we still do have my event coming up. That's a collaboration with some other vendors sometime in March. I don't have the exact date. I'm not even going to put out there till it's totally finalized. So anyways, tonight we're doing our layered tree mini class. So we're going to switch down to the table.
Okay, you're there.
Alrighty. So these are the 3 cards that we're doing tonight. I'm just taking my watch off because I'm doing more stamping tonight. So these are our 3 cards. Some of you ordered the kit. The complete kit came with this stamp set. If you did not order the complete kit, then just pull out whatever trees you have. I am out of the class kits, but you can get, you can do them on your own. You can get the square card window overlay kit or slimline kit with the harvest layers, or this is new. This is our Mini Slimline SHUTTER Card. So we're going to start with that one.
Okay, question?
Question.
Where do we get the whole kit for tonight? She couldn't find it.
Yeah, it's sold out.
It's sold out.
Yeah, the kit for tonight is totally sold out. So I don't have any of those kits left. So you can watch, and what I was saying was, if you wanted to order, if you wanted to duplicate this card, basically it is the square card window overlay kit that is fossil and milkweed, which is on the sale page. Plus I used the With Sympathy die and the tree stamps. Or like this one, it is just a slimline card with the harvest layers, and then a little deer die, again with the tree set. This one is our Mini Slimline SHUTTER Card, which is new. It's under the Mini Slimline cards, and that's a new product on there. And then we have some black layer, silver Miri Sparkle, and then again using the same stamp set. So yeah, I'm sorry, I'm totally out of the kit, but you can duplicate the cards with just the products. So let's put these 2 off to the side. We're gonna start with our Mini Slimline SHUTTER Card. I'm gonna pull my pieces out. I just want to talk about the pieces for a minute. This is this is one of our Mini Slimline Wave background dies, so we die cut that out. It is cream. We're using it for brush blending, so it didn't really matter whether it was cream or white or black or whatever color, because we're using it more like a stencil. And then we have our Mini Slimline SHUTTER Card. Now I wanted to layer on this white card on a couple layers. Once I did that, it did not fit in a normal Mini Slimline card, or envelope. So the envelope that you have in your kit, this is our skinny Slimline. So it's a little bit longer, but it is just a hair wider. So it did fit with the layers. So the normal Mini Slimline shutter does fit in the Mini Slimline envelope, but I added layers behind it, which made it no longer fit in the Mini Slimline envelope. It was too wide, so that's why I switched to the skinny Slimline envelope. Question?
Do you have the stamps left to order, or are you out of those as well?
The stamps are from Rubbernecker. So yes, I'm out of the stamps. You would have to get those directly from Rubbernecker. They're pine tree set number 3460. Yeah, I actually ran oversold on those, and I had to get them to send a couple just direct without the paper and then I ran out of the paper kits only too. So anyways, so that's the pieces that are in here. This one does come pre-embossed, and that is a stamp from Endless Creations. Let's go on to, if you didn't weed this out, make sure to weed that out. And in your kit, there was some Post-it notes. So there was a couple Post-it notes in there. And I'm using the Post-it notes to hold our shutter card shut. So if I just put my Post-it notes on the inside, so the sticky side is up towards the inside of the card. See how they're stuck to one side? Now I'm just going to close my shutter card. And now it stays fairly shut. So now I can stamp on the outside of it if I want. And I'm actually going to take this die cut here and use it as a stencil. I'm going to use it near the bottom, and see how I just went off to one side with a gray ink pad, and then I shifted it up to the top and went off to the other side. Now I do like to hold, when I use die cuts as stencils, I like to hold them in place with removable tape or washi tape.
Sarah, did the tree stamp have a coordinating die set from Rubbernecker?
I think it does, but I'm not totally sure. We didn't use it, but I'm almost, a lot of their clear sets have coordinating die sets, and like this set was set 3460 pine tree set, so if it has a coordinating die, it would be 3460D, or
Okay.
dash D for die.
3460.
3460. So I just used removable tape to hold that into place, and I can just set that up wherever, kind of wherever I want my snow hills. And I'm just going to start blending off to the one side and blend in. Now I am using a gray ink pad, and this is a smaller one. And I'm just going to, do a little bit on the table just to test it. And then I'm just going to pull that color in. Now this can be a little bit more delicate of a die, so just be careful. I kind of am, you can see I'm kind of holding it down as I go. But see, it's just going to give some snow hills. And like you could have, this is a little bit darker than my original one, but you could have done any color. If you wanted a happy card, you could do bright colors on there instead of grays. So really you can do whatever you want. So if you're just watching and you want to do different colors, go for it. So now I'm going from the other side, and I did raise it up. So my snow hills are now going to be, approximately right here. It's not an exact science, and I did go a little bit over onto the other side. Again, go off on your workstation a little bit. And sometimes it doesn't look like much ink is down there until you move the die cut, and then you're like, oh, I really did have some down there. So less is best. Although I'm going to do more. There we go. So we have our snow hills on each side. And then this, you can either pull off and use as a, oh, I did stencil on the inside too. So let's do that a little bit. So I did do a little bit on the inside, and if you want, you can mask off. If you can go across. On mine, I just did a little bit in the middle. Do it a little bit lighter though, because you are going to stamp over the top of it some words. So totally up to you if you want to mask off your sides.
No, they don't have coordinating dies.
Okay, they don't have coordinating dies.
No, I typed it in it.
So yeah, definitely make this one a little bit lighter because you are going to stamp some words over the top of it. So just do it a little bit, and it might not look like almost anything is there. And we're going to stamp some words. So our die that we used as a stencil, you can either keep it and use it as a stencil on another project. You can finish brush blending it and use it on another project. You can turn it over, not brush blend it, and use it on another project. So just set that aside. Don't waste it.
Penny Clark said those trees are really easy to cut out.
Okay, I haven't tried cutting them out. I mean, that's what we used to do all the time, right? We used to fussy cut everything until dies came along. So we can go ahead and put our Post-it notes on the inside again. And that's just going to hold it shut. And then every once in a while you get a little gap, so you'll get a little bit of ink in between there. So if I'm stamping a tree over the gap, because sometimes you'll get a little bit of a gap on a shutter card. It's really super hard, even with our bigger equipment, to get it so it comes exactly together. But the Post-it notes will help so you don't get any ink on the inside of your card too. So now we're going to get out a black ink pad. And I'm going to use my VersaFine Clair. And you're going to pull out whatever trees you want. I'm just going to pull my package out and just leave it out because I'm going to be using a lot of them. And there's no right or wrong to this. I think I used this biggest tree. Make sure you have baby wipes or stamp cleaner so you can clean stuff off. Okay, so I used the biggest tree, and then I think I used this tree, but you know, honestly, it does not matter. And we're going to use a lot of them throughout the night, or throughout the next half an hour, however long. Sometimes I put trees on both the front and the back of my clear blocks if you don't have enough blocks, so you don't have to take them on and off. Okay, so I'm just going to line my trees up on top. And my Post-it notes are kind of holding them together. And yeah, now I'm just going to start stamping. So this one's pretty easy because we're just doing one shade black. Where on our other cards, we're doing some layering of the trees with different shades of brown or different shades of green. So this one, you're just stamping some trees right here, which will end up being above the center line, and some trees down here, which are below the center line. Sometimes I do find it easier to ink this way. Sometimes when you ink this way, you end up pushing too hard and you get your little halo-y thing, and I don't want to do it, but when you, and I do have ink there from inking on my brown ink pad, and sometimes the clear sets stain. Oh, I forgot to talk about this too. Sorry about that. If you have a brand new set of stamps, because of the machine or equipment they went through, sometimes they have like I don't know if they have the chemical on them, but you'll see that inks sometimes will bead up on brand new clear sets. So if you take them and you just take an eraser, like a pink pencil eraser, a green pencil eraser, and just, erase over the top of it, that helps kind of season them so you don't end up with that beading of the dye-based inks.
Do we need to use the eraser?
If you see beading, depending on your ink pads, if you see beading, then you do. So it just helps season them. And usually when you're using brand new, like even with a rubber stamp, they're fresh and you want to season them by stamping a few times. So to season your stamps, you want to take a brand new stamp and just ink it and stamp it a few times. And that just seasons it, and that's just the word that just gets it so the ink is sticking to it well. So, but sometimes when you're using clear stamps, you do need to take the eraser to them if you're seeing beading up of your inks. Okay, mine have been very well used, so I don't see any beading of my inks. But just if this is the first time you've pulled them out and used them, stamp them on a piece of scratch paper first. Just to make sure you're getting a nice, good image. And you might want to stamp it on and off a few times just to season that stamp, okay? Because you don't want to use a brand new stamp and go right to your project, whether it's red rubber or whether it's clear. But sometimes using the eraser on the clear helps, get any of that, if there's like chemical left on there, because I think it's a chemical process that they use to make these. So I think, anyways. So
makes sense.
Anyways. So
Thanks
do
for
a few
asking.
off.
That's a good question, though. And
Yeah, that is a good question. I totally forgot about that. So you're just going to stamp your trees however you want. You can stamp them a little off the top or a little off the side. Now somebody asked, Mary Beth asked about using a stamp positioner. And yes, you can use a stamp positioner, but we're using a bunch of different trees. So you're going to be changing your trees on your, your platform, your stamping platform. I just find this easier to do with clear blocks. But if you only have like a platform, you can use a platform. Just hold your paper in there and you're just going to be replacing your stamps, especially for this card, because you are going to overlap them. So you can't put your stamps right next to each other because then you can't get like your trees overlapping a little bit. So ink up your next one. And again, if this is a brand new stamp, stamp it off on a piece of paper, just to see how it's stamping. That's why I always have scratch paper underneath me so I can...
Robin says she's watching from 80-degree Arizona. Oh, tough, Robin.
We're watching from... It's pretty cold here. So I did drop my stamp just a tiny bit before I stamped on my project. And yeah, but I just covered it up with a tree. So that's good. And actually I'm going to put a tree right here, even though I didn't have one there on my sample. Now when you're stamping on and off, which we're going to get to later, if you stamp over the edge of a piece of paper, like this one went over the crack right there, if I stamp my secondary image, you'll see that I have where the edge of the paper was. So if you're stamping ever your main image over the edge of the paper, don't do your secondary image because you'll end up with a darker line. I'm going to stamp this one a little bit off and right in here just to fill in that gap. There we go.
How did you get such such a large piece of green paper under your project?
This paper is like 11 by 17. So I just have these 11 by 17 pads We got a truckload of paper. Actually, we got them twice. And we had a ton of this green paper. So we made up some stamp pads. So I use these as my stamping pads. That's why I always have green. They're not ones that we sell or that you can buy. It's just, we had a whole boatload of extra green paper. And when I'm talking a boatload, it was a lot. So we needed something to do with it. So it ended up being my background paper.
So Sarah, is a boatload different than a carload?
A boatload is bigger than a carload.
All right.
Unless it's a little speedboat.
All right. Technical term. Oh my gosh.
So now I'm going to do my trees that are down on the bottom. And again, if you're using a new stamp, because these might all be new for you, stamp them off on some paper just to make sure before you do it right on your project. And Mary Beth, this is kind of why I like just to have them on clear blocks, just because then I'm not taking them on and off. But if that's all you have as a platform, you just knock your socks off and use your platform, because that'll work too. All right. Okay, now I'm going to cover up my ink pad because we're not using the black anymore, and I am going to get out my baby wipes or my stamp cleaner. I have either my permanent stamp cleaner, even though I'm using a VersaFine, or I use my baby wipes. Since I'm doing black, I'm probably going to do a little bit of both. But I have my Thinking of You, and you might, now on mine I did it edge to edge. So, and that's how they're cut, but if you want a border on both sides, then you can trim a little bit off. So I did that edge to edge, and I did not pop mine up. If you want to pop yours up, you can. I'm going to attach, and I'm going to just kind of put my stamps out of the way. I'm going to run out of tape here pretty soon.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Do I have to go get one?
No, I have my pink gun too.
Okay.
I always have a backup tape. Okay. Then I can stamp my words on the inside first, or I can attach my layers, which since I had my tape gun out, I'm just going to attach my layers right away. So I did attach my card to my silver Miri Sparkle and then to my black. Now, just feel this black. This is 100-pound black. It's a newer black. I think it's called Epic Black. It's supposed to be like the blackest black there is. We also have the Eclipse Black, which is an 80-pound. And they're both a really nice black. As opposed to the black licorice, sometimes is a little lighter black. So, I mean, you say black, red, and yeah, there's a bazillion shades. So. But this one is a little bit heavier weight, and it's called Epic Black, and it's new on our website. And if you just search the word Epic, you should find it. So now I'm going to attach my card. So, and now because this card is attached to bigger layers, it does not fit in our mini slimline envelope. And the envelope that you have in your kit is the skinny slimline envelope, which there is on our slimline page. There's both a mini section and a skinny section. So now we're going to stamp on the inside. So you can pick whatever word stamp you want for the inside. I think mine says between every two trees is a doorway to a new world. So, but whatever words you want, you can just pull that out. And again, make sure, stamp it off onto your scratch pad first. So just stamp it off just to make sure. That kind of gives you an idea of how it stamps too. I always like stamping off on a piece of scratch paper. Okay. So our words. I'm going to put mine away, which I'm not always real good at, but. Okay. So then for our thinking of you, I did pop this up. So when you're attaching it, you only want to put tape on half. So if you put tape on the whole thing, you'll tape your card shut. So I did just put tape on half. And this one I did use foam tape for also. So let's get my scissors out so I can cut some foam tape. So now with the shaker card that we're going to be doing on the 26th, I am going to provide foam tape in that, but it's not going to be my good roll of foam tape. It's going to be some of my spongy foam tape. And you're feel free to use whatever foam tape you want. I will give you some, but it's not my normal 3M because you know what happened. They changed it, and I'm going to stop whining about it.
Like never.
like never I'm going to stop whining about it. But I'm going to give it to you all for shaker cards. So there we have our Mini Slimline Shutter Card. So that's our first card of the night.
Doggone.
So do you guys all wonder what I do with my cards? Because I usually have a sample and then I usually make one with you. Well, I have a 25-year-old son. I think he's 25. No, 26-year-old son that loves my cards. And he comes and when he comes home from college, he always scams on them and then gives them to his friends. So his friends always look forward to getting handmade cards from him. So it kind of makes me feel good because he likes my handmade cards and he likes to give them out. So yeah.
Just curious, Sarah, what color has the most hues?
What color has the most hues?
Yeah.
I don't know what color
okay,
has
Leslie,
the most...
you stumped her.
Okay, what color has the most hues?
Huey Lewis.
Oh.
I don't know.
Oh. Anyways, let's go on to this card. I don't know what color has the most hues.
Oh my gosh. I don't know.
So I am going to clean my stamps though. So if you've been cleaning all along, great. But we're going to go on to this card next. Who asked that? Leslie?
Leslie Gerhard. Like you said, black had 3. Oh, black has got lots of hues to it. You have 3 though, right, Sarah? Or?
Oh, wondering how many which color we have the most hues of. I would say, I want to say like aquas or greens we have the most. Yeah. But like even red.
Well, white.
We have 4 different, even white. Yeah, whites are different. But red is one too. And people will call up and say, oh, just give me a Christmas red. Well, my definition of Christmas red may be different than your definition of Christmas red.
So my decoration of Christmas red is Victorian red.
So yeah. So, but I think either blues or greens we have the most shades. So I'm just cleaning. We're going on to brown next.
You know, I just want a black.
Yeah, a black.
It's like a bride trying to match colors.
But yeah, that Epic Black and Eclipse Black. The Epic is 100-pound, the Eclipse is 80. Those are 2 really good blacks. The 100-pound black licorice, I don't consider it as stark of a black. Actually, I said we're going on to browns. We're not. We're going on to greens.
Does your daughter come and steal your cards, Sarah?
Not usually.
Just
Nope,
Josh.
Just Josh. Josh is my only card stealer. The other kids will say, "And Mom, I need a wedding card." But Josh will come and say, "Can I go through your cards?" And he'll leave with 10 or 12 of them. He's just preparing for upcoming birthdays. So in this kit, okay. So I did stamp down here, I gave you an extra one because you can stamp right on it. But just in case it didn't work and in case you wanted to layer, I gave you a piece that you could layer on there. And I'll tell you why later. You've got a couple Post-it notes because we're going to cut some hills. You've got your deer. So we're going to set our deer off to the side. We've got our white regular Slimline card and envelope. And then we have our green, which is a jelly bean green, and this is a 65-pound layer. And then we have just our fossil. So we're going to go on our fossil. And you are going to, you have 2 Post-it notes in there. I use Post-it notes a lot, can you tell? But I just took and I just cut a hillside going one way and then a hillside going the other way. And it doesn't have to be perfect, it's a hillside. I mean, how perfect are those? Anyways, you're going to use 1/2 of your mask to mask your trees, and then after your trees are there, we're going to use the other side to mask when we're doing the sponging for the snow. Okay, so save both sides, or you know, you could probably, I don't know, I just cut 2 of them. So I used one at the bottom, and then my other one I cut in the other direction. And maybe I gave you 2 because you're having issues cutting, and then you have an extra one, I don't know. Or they're nice and big. So again, you're going to save both because you're going to stamp your trees, and then after your trees are stamped, then we're going to mask off, and then you have the exact mask. Okay, so I'm just going to layer for my trees, and I'm going to set my other 2 aside. So I can layer one up here for stamping the trees going this way, and I'm going to layer the other one down here, leaving enough room for this stamp in case you want to stamp it right on it. Yes? Question?
Is the hillside die that you used as a stencil on the first card the wave die on your website?
Yes, this is the wave die.
Okay.
Yep. Mini Slimline wave die. But you want to, this is the stamp that I used right here, so you want to make sure to leave enough room for that. So you can just kind of pull it out and leave enough room right there. And I just have my old Post-it notes that I'm going to pull out because I can't really see my green on my green. So do I have any white cardstock here? That's pretty funny. Do I have any white cardstock? Of course I have some white cardstock. Actually, I don't want white, I want fossil. But I've got some cream right here. I'm just going to use a piece of cream to test my trees, because I stamped them a while ago and I can't remember exactly which ones I used. So I think I used these. Well, these are the ones sitting here, so I know I used them. So you're going to stamp trees right here and then trees right here. One thing that you want to remember is when you're stamping off an edge. So I'm just going to show you a couple things first. And I did use a few different shades here, so you can tell that this is my olive pastel, and then I stamped it twice, but I used more of an evergreen tone also. So I did full strength, secondary strength, full strength, secondary strength, full strength, secondary strength. So besides using 2 different shades, I also used 2 different stamped images, my primary stamping image and my secondary stamping image. But when I stamp, if I stamp my primary image off the edge, you can see that there's a line of ink there. So I don't, and I'm stamping now on a scratch piece of paper. I don't want to stamp that as my secondary image because you're going to see that stark line. So sometimes you will need to stamp off on your scratch paper and then on to your project to get your nice secondary image, because you don't want a secondary image that has that big bold line going through it. Okay, so just if you're stamping off and on, like right here, you don't want to take a secondary image from this one, okay, because we're going to have a line just like we do right here. Okay, so just be aware of that. I do want to test my color box chalk ink though. And if you're going from different shades, you might want to clean your stamps in between. So this is my color box chalk olive pastel. That is pretty pastel-y. Maybe I used that one. So yeah, I think that could have been my olive pastel, and this dark green is this pine. So I just want to test one more thing. And you guys, that's what I kind of gave you as your homework, was to test your ink pads.
And then write it down, right?
And write it down. Yeah, that's probably a good thing. Maybe I should have done that. So yeah, I could use either one because they're both pretty similar. I think I'm going to use my 2 Impression Obsession. They're easier to pull the tops off of. And I had one more in here too. I had a Catherine Pooler one in here, but I can't find it at the moment. So we're just going to use these two. So just to start with whatever you want. I usually like to start with my big trees first. I like to get some big trees and then stamp my secondary images higher. Okay, so I like some big trees along my main tree line and then some secondary images peeking up through. And then I did a few little smaller ones as your darker tree. So let's get going here. And if this tree is up too high, it might run into the bottom of there. So you might need to, move that. Or I might even have it up higher. And there's no set rule. Okay, so I have a primary image, which I talked too long or didn't ink it very good. But that's okay because I can put a little tree in front of it. Okay, so even if you have a mishap like that, just stamp something right over the top of it. Okay, so let's do another one of these. And this one I did stamp, I intersected my mask a little bit. So again, where I intersected my mask, I might have a little dark line right there. So I don't want to stamp that one up too high because I might have a little, a dark line from where my mask was even. Sometimes you'll get that funny line from your mask. Not as much because the mask is a lot thinner than the cardstock. So let's get some secondary ones, and I'm just going to do some other trees. But I am going to stamp them off, and then I'm just going to get my top one out of the way. So there I have my little bit lighter trees in there. And you can see these were both secondary images, but I must have had this one more inked or I used more pressure. Okay. Now I'm going to just go to my darker green and fill in some places. Like right here needs a tree. Now this one is off the edge, so I definitely don't want to stamp that one because I have that dark line. Because if I stamp it, see how I got that dark line? Now this was my scratch paper. So if I do want this one as a secondary image, I'm just going to stamp it off and then stamp it on. And then I get that one through there. Let's try this tree. And we're going to do this one off the edge. But again, I don't want to stamp it on because I have my line right there. So if I want a secondary one, I want to stamp it off and on. And then I'm going to fill in where my tree wasn't as dark. So let's see what I can fill that in with. I want one of my... So where I've missed my tree, I'm just going to put a nice little dark one right over the top of it. And I still need something right there. So let's do let's see, we'll do this one, and we'll just tap it off just a little so it shows up. Nope, I don't like that. Okay, I'm going to go right over the top of it. There. Okay, so I'm set with that little tree line. And I can take that off. So now that one is probably a little bit higher than mine, which is okay. There's a little bit more room for words right there. Then we're going to go to our top hillside. We want to save room in here for the deer. So maybe I'm going to do mine up a little bit higher than my original one was. Yeah, no, I don't even like that. Let's go a little bit lower. And like I said, there's no right or wrong. It's your project. So you're just going to kind of do the same thing up here. So stamp some full strength. Do your other shade of green. I'm going to stamp this one off so I can put a nice tall one back there. I do want it a little bit darker back there though. There we go. Okay, so now let's get a couple more little trees on there. So there's really no right or wrong. Just kind of stamp your front trees, and your back ones up higher are going to be a little bit lighter as secondary images. All right, and always make sure you put your correct lids back on your ink pads, otherwise you'll be surprised the next time. Okay, so now I do want my snow. So remember I said save your masks. So now we're going to mask off our trees, and we're going to add our snow. Now down here, let's just talk about that really quick. I'm going to put my green ink pads away. But down here, for our words, the words don't stamp very well over the top. I'm using paint, so I'm using an acrylic paint, but you could use a white re-inker, and then I'm using a sponge. So the words did not stamp very well, so I just have a very small amount of snow right underneath the trees, and that's why this one is actually popped up, because I didn't like what was underneath it. So hence, that's why I gave you the second one, because if you do it once and you don't like it, you have an extra piece that you can layer on there, okay? So that's exactly what this is for, because when I did mine the first time, I had more white on here, and I didn't like how my words stamped over the top of the white. And so then I did it on an extra piece of paper and attached it on with foam tape. So you can use it, you can not use it. It's up to you, but I gave you that just in case it didn't turn out. But I'm going to mask off my trees. I'm going to use my white acrylic paint. And I'm just going to put a little gloober on like one of my scrap post-it notes. And if you've never done this, maybe test it on a piece of scratch paper. Where's my sponge? Here's my sponge. I do kind of like this is just a regular sponge. I do like taking it and kind of balling it up and loading it with some ink, but then doing it off. Because you don't want too much on it, otherwise you're going to end up with these big gloopy parts. And then you're going to overlap your mask. Can you leave that unlocked?
We'll leave it unlocked.
Yeah, because Tracy might be coming to drop something off. Sorry. But you want to do it off on your scratch paper just to get the larger amounts off. And then you're going to kind of overlap your mask and your cardstock. And that's going to give you your snowy hill right below your...
It was a jar, that's what I went
Oh, okay. Right below the trees. But yeah, if you just have small amounts, you get like a little stippling effect. If it's too much, then it'll be just too dense on there. So you want to always get it off on your scratch paper or even up here on your mask before you do it on your project. Now, and I'm purposely leaving that so I can stamp my words right there. If I don't like how they are, I can use my extra piece of fossil. Now this extra piece of fossil is big enough where if this is stamped too low, you do have the stamp for that. So you can turn this over, you can do whatever you want with this extra piece of fossil paper. But it's just there just in case. But yeah, I like the acrylic paint. So we masked off our trees. See how we get our little snow hill? So we used both sides of our mask. One side of our mask to make our tree line, the other side of our mask to make our snow hill. So now I'm going to do it up here. Okay. So then do the same thing, but leave a little brown space here because we're actually going to put another mask on there. And you can do it at the top of these trees, you know, to make two different snow hills, but leave a little brown for your deer. Although they could be standing in the snow, it's okay. I'm sure they stand in the snow all the time.
Yeah, they come right in my backyard and stand in my
Yeah,
snow.
we have them in our backyard too. They're pretty to watch. Not so much when they eat your flowers during the summer, but... So, if you feel so inclined, you are more than welcome to add glitter to your snow too. That's totally up to you.
Oh.
Okay. So there. Yeah, so we used our little masks. Now before you stamp your, I always have Post-it notes in my stamp room. But before you stamp your words, you want to make sure this is totally dry. If you didn't gloop it on, it should be totally dry. But I'm going to talk for a little bit. Actually, I might assemble my card because I know it's a little bit wet. I might assemble it and then wait for a little bit before I do the words because I'm going to stamp them right there. So let's clean up a little bit and get our pieces attached. So we have our jelly bean green is attaching to our card. Now if you made a mess on your table, then just pull that off and put a new one because you don't want to do your projects on wet paint. Alright, by the time we get it assembled, or you can heat set it with a heat tool to dry it. Sometimes I like opening my card up so I'm not fighting with the fold, and then when I'm layering it, I kind of look at three sides and make sure they're like about equal before I attach the whole thing. So that's kind of my gauge, which I was a little high here and I'm a little, got too much there, but that's okay. It's a handmade card, right?
It's perfectly imperfect.
Yep, perfectly imperfect. I like that. Now my deer, I did pop those little buggers up with foam tape. Okay, so I have my deer. And you can put your deer on there whichever way you want, but I did pop them up with foam tape. So let me get a little foam tape out here. You guys are quiet tonight.
Yeah, they are.
You're all working. So watch for this.
Love how you did the snow. Thank you, Penny Clark.
Yeah, I was trying to figure that out, and it took me actually a lot of pieces to get that together. But I do like how it finally came out. So I do a lot of experimenting sometimes when I'm planning stuff. But I used the acrylic paint to make my snow drops on a craft along, and it's sitting in here, and I'm like, I wonder if that'll work. And lo and behold, it did. Okay, so now I am going to stamp my words right here. Again, if you want that all white, you could even cut that out as a square and attach it. Totally up to you. Don't use it on a different project, whatever you want to do. But I did use a dark brown ink pad. I'm stamping it off a few times just to make sure I know how it stamps, especially with words. They can be a little bit finicky sometimes. Okay, so yeah, I like that. So I'm just going to leave it. I'm not going to use my extra piece.
That goes in your just in case box.
Yeah, it goes in my just in case I need something box. So yeah, there we have our green snowy hills, our green trees with our snowy hills and our deer. So that's that card. Good masculine card. So if you don't like the words that I'm using, you can just set that aside and save it, and put a birthday on it or a thank you or whatever you want.
Penny Clark said this is a first class kit she's ordered and it's not here yet, but she can't wait to make these.
Oh, well, it should be there, Penny. I probably won't remember it. Maybe my mom can write your name down and I'll track it tomorrow when I get it into the office. So, but they were all shipped by Monday, except for one went out on Tuesday. So yeah. But you never know, because the mail, the weather, the speedy delivery people, you never know. But yeah, it'll be coming, and the video will be saved here, and it'll be saved on YouTube. And some people, I did talk to another gal whose kit was getting to her late, and she said she normally just watches it anyways the first time and then does it the next time. So there's something to be said for just watching and observing, and then you can start and stop me the next time you do it. So now we have our square card overlay kit. These are the kits there's a box on our sale page. Now if we do sell out of one, because like this kit will probably sell out of, our website does not have a good inventory on it, so it'll let more people order it until I say, whoa, I need to turn this off. So if that happens, I will contact you and we'll see if you want to substitute another kit. Anyways, let's just go ahead and attach oh no, we're not going to do that first. I was going to say let's attach the text insert, but we actually need to stamp some trees on that text insert.
Track it right.
So we have our overlay and we have our text insert, and we're getting browns out this time. Okay, browns. I did use, I believe, these two browns, and then I did use my dark brown for just a couple little small trees in the front. So this is another one that I gave you some post-it notes. You can cut and I gave you 2. I'm not sure why, but you can cut a hillside, so you have an extra Post-it note. Save that in your stamp room for next time you need to mask something off. Or if you don't like how you cut it, then you just cut another one. Or if you have, there's a lot of hill dies out there, so if you have one, you could cut your own. I actually do have one, but I find this kind of easy too. So actually we could use almost either side.
Penny said she ordered late and she wasn't complaining, but I see it did go out on Monday.
Yep. I knew we had almost all of them out on Monday except for one that I got lost on my desk. So anyways, kind of the same thing. You want to remember that when you're stamping off the edge, don't use that as a secondary image. Put some, now you have more space here, so put some like your bigger trees, so you have a big tree right here, put a secondary image, you know, up fairly high. And then you also want to remember to do some very lighter ones. So I've got 2 different shades of brown here. I'm going to use this one as only a secondary image over the top of your words. You want those to be very light. Okay, so I'm going to start with my biggest tree and my medium brown, my darkish brown. And again, maybe test. So I have my scratch paper here to test. Oh, this with sympathy is just in case you like it better, you know, you want to attach that down there somehow instead of the die cut. So I just gave you extra options here. So this is just an extra piece. When I originally showed this card, I had with sympathy stamped right here. So I just gave you that. You could cut a hill out of there and mount it on there instead of the die cut. So up to you. Just an extra piece for you. So I'm testing my brown. Yep. So I'm going to stamp this one pretty high. And then I'm going to stamp them pretty high again as a secondary image. Now I can do that because he wasn't overlapping any of the edges of the paper. Okay, now I will end up covering this up, so don't worry about it. Did it track?
I don't know how to track it.
Oh, okay. I can do that.
Okay.
I'll track it tomorrow for you,
Okay,
Penny.
I'll just leave this on your desk.
Okay. I mean, yeah, technically, it should be there, but, you know, with the mail, yeah, you never know. Sometimes things happen. I'm going to put a secondary image up here. Okay, then I have my other brown.
The collectible pens that says the paper cut.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to test this brown too. Yep, it's just a little bit different shade of brown. These are from Impression Obsession, so they kind of have groups of them.
Sarah, question?
Question.
How do you go back and correct the number of cards selected or the overlay type? Maybe she's making an order? That's
Oh. Yeah, I think if you want to look at your cart, I think you can remove it or edit the amount when you're looking at your cart. I think. If it doesn't let you correct it, then you might have to remove it and re-add it. But it should let you, I think it'll let you update the quantity. I think I used more.
She couldn't do that.
I think I used more of this color. I kind of do like this color.
Sarah, if she couldn't do that, Do you have another suggestion that?
You should be able to remove it from your cart. Can't you remove it from your cart and then just re-add it?
How do you remove it? It wouldn't let me delete anything. Oh, let me see what I can do.
Okay. Off the top of my head, I would actually need to open it up on my computer and look at it.
Okay.
So.
Nope, she couldn't do it.
It's me.
Hey, we've got company. More company. Tracy's here.
Hi there.
Aren't you talking?
I am talking. I'm teaching. So we're making cards.
We're trying to figure out how you cancel things in your cart.
So anyways, yeah, just keep going on your trees and get a few dark ones in there because those kind of stand out a little bit more. Oops, that one didn't stamp so dark. Oops.
What kind of cards are you making?
We're making some layered tree cards.
For Christmas?
No.
Oh.
This one's a sympathy card.
Oh.
So these are sympathy, thinking of you. Okay. All right. So we have our layered trees. And, oh, I need to add them to my text insert also. So you want to do some very light ones over the top of here. And I used some of our bigger trees. And you want to make sure to stamp them off. So ink it up. Stamp them off really good. So then you don't have, they don't cover up your words. And then just stamp a few over your words. Oh, that was too light.
I can update. I just hit update and then I go back and highlight the number and change it to 2 or 3 or 0.
Maybe you can tell her that,
yeah.
or type the instructions in there
Or
for that.
remove it.
Yeah, I forgot about the update button. Okay. So one more background.
Okay, she figured it out.
Okay, good. All right. So we have our trees on our overlay. We have our trees, we have our trees on our overlay. We have our trees on our text insert, and now we are going to attach our text insert. Okay, so for attaching your text insert, this is what I like to do. I don't like to put tape all the way around it and just attach it flat because you'll end up getting buckling right here. So what I do is I put a little bit of tape on either side of my score. So if I use my 1/2" tape, I just put one line of tape. Don't go all the way to the edges because your text insert doesn't go all the way to your edges. So you want to stay about 1/4 inch away from each edge. And then you're going to use your tape and go right over the top of your score. If you're using a 1/4 inch tape, you can put it on both sides. If you're using your 1/2", go right down the middle. Hold your card base at a 90-degree angle and just kind of set that folded text insert right into there. And then just fold it shut. And then you get it where it's attached to a little bit to each side.
Okay, so
Question.
what are the square cards called?
The square cards are square card overlay kits.
Okay, thanks.
And they're on our sale page, and there's a box right up at the top of our sale page that says square card overlay kits. On sale through the 12th, which is Saturday. So now I'm just going to attach my text insert. There's 2 pages of them, and they're all on sale. So it's a good time to snap up on them. Because once they're gone, they're gone. Okay, so tape on the back of your overlay kit. Attach that. And then we're going to use, if you're a glitter girl, which I'm a glitter girl, I am going to use some glue and some glitter for my snow hill. But if you're not a glitter girl, just don't do this part. Whoops. My glue pen. Which I can't seem, no, here it is. Imagine that, it got lost on my work surface. Okay, so my glue pen. I don't even know if it's working. Oh yeah, it is working. and then my glitter. And then the next thing we're going to go on to is our sympathy words. So you can pull those out. If you haven't weeded them, you can weed them. Now weeding, that is just for taking the die cut out of your main piece of paper. So it's getting rid of all the junk, kind of like gardening and getting rid of all the junk, extra stuff, getting rid of all the extra paper for your die cuts. Wow, who made up that term? I have no idea, but okay, so we have our little bit of glitter, and now we have our words. You can use this, or you can just use it for something else. I didn't use it on my exact card right here. Okay, so now you do have two sets of words. One is cream and one is brown. If you want to save one set for another project, you can. Or if you want to offset them, you can. I did offset them just a little bit with the cream behind the brown. So I'm going to pull out my micro dot adhesive sheets, which I got to find a good one because they're very used. Okay. So did she figure out how to update her cart?
Yeah, she did.
Okay, good.
And then I put a link into the sale page.
Okay, good. Oh, good. You can buy the bulk overlay kits, but those aren't on sale. So you can buy like 25 count overlays, the 25 count cards, but they're not on sale. So I put it on my micro dot adhesive sheet. I rubbed over the top of it. I'm going to pull the top off and then just pull my words off. Probably not the smartest thing to do two of them at the same time, because now I'm fighting with the adhesive. And I'm just going to offset those a little bit. Somebody laughing at me? Besides you?
No, we wouldn't laugh at you, Sarah. We wouldn't laugh at you ever.
Okay, and then my width. And then I'm going to do the same thing with my sympathy, except this one I'm going to be a little bit smarter about.
You are your grandmother's granddaughter, that's for sure.
Why?
You're so artsy, craftsy.
Oh,
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yes.
She has such talent.
I know it.
Like would never come up with any of this.
my friend Tracy's here, and she might be helping me on one of these Saturdays coming up. I haven't asked her yet, but my mom's working, and Leah's out of town. So while she's sitting here, I'm going to ask her to help on a Saturday.
So it says
And
that,
as long as I can be on this side, I'm probably a help.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm offsetting my sympathy.
Sarah,
Yes.
it says only blue kits are shown on the sale page. Only blue square overlay cards are shown on the sale page.
Can you click on that, Mom?
Yeah, I am.
Because I looked earlier today and there was a whole bunch of them. There was 2 pages of them. You have to go in the box. You have to go on the sale page.
Yep, I'm there.
And then go on the top box that says Square Card Overlay Kits. It's at the very
Okay.
top.
All right, let me go back.
And if something went haywire and it's not working, I will get it working as soon as we're done. But I'm pretty sure it was working earlier.
Square card Huskin Blue Raspberry. If you click on that,
No, if you, at the very top of the sale page, there's a box. So there's a box.
oh, I see it.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
And it
click on
says Square Card Overlay Kits.
Yep, got it.
And if you open that, then you should come to a whole bunch of
Yep, I
different
did.
overlay kits.
I'm gonna go put another link in.
Okay. Okay, so she's changing the link. So anyways, we have our With Sympathy card. You can put whatever you want on the inside. But yeah, so there we have our With Sympathy card. So let's get our 3 cards back in front of us again. Make sure to clean your stamps off and put them away. I'm going to do that right after I'm done. Usually doesn't happen, but I'm going to do it today. Okay, so here we have our 3 kits, or our 3 cards. Again, we have our Slimline card with our Harvest layers. We have our square card overlay kit, and we have our Mini Slimline Shutter Card, which is a new card on our website. So thank you for joining me. I will get my next 2 classes posted, which will be this one. That will be March 11th, I think. And then our February 26th, which is we're going to do our little event. We have our flip-flop card. And we have our Wish Big card, shaker card that Mitra from Impression of Section is going to be teaching. And then we'll do our comment sold on that day too. So, thank you for joining me, and we'll see you next Thursday. Bye, guys.